Hey, Mango Mamas, Regine Mora here. And today we are going to talk about how to stay consistent over the holidays, plus how to engage our waist trainer muscle. We're going to go through a demo and make sure that when somebody tells you to engage your core, if I tell you how to engage your core or to engage your core, that you actually know what that is and that you know how it helps. So, I have wanted to talk about this because I know that when we come to the holiday season, usually things get chaotic. There's food, there's family, there's travel. I have a couple trips that I'm taking over this holiday, and we start to get a bit overwhelmed and often get way off track with our health goals. So, I want to talk about that today and how we can stay on track. I have a little framework that I want to help you with, and we're going to do that deep core exercise, that waist trainer exercise, as a base level thing that I want us to work on throughout this holiday season. So, for those of you who might have to jump off after this, or not staying on for this whole chat, I want you to know that if you want help with staying on track this season, I have a holiday boot camp. Holiday boot camp is a 3 to 5 minute practice a day that we are going to be doing together, and you are going to stay strong through the holiday. We're going to do a 3 to 5 minute practice that is one that has helped thousands of my mamas with their back, with their leaking, and with this tummy, with tightening the tummy. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. But if you want information on that, just put holiday down in the comments. It costs the price of going out to eat with your family one time. So that's that. Now, before I get into this, because I want to teach you how to isolate the deep core muscle, but speaking of isolation, for me, this is just something that happened to me last Friday. So I have been working on my upper body strength. I don't talk about this that much. I've started talking about it more. I felt kind of embarrassed because I know that some of you may look to me thinking I'm just this kind of fitness guru kind of person, but I actually like to do the bare minimum to be healthy and functional. So my core is pretty strong. My lower body is pretty strong after lots of work and doing that, but my upper body, you guys, is literally shot. And that is in part because I had a neck injury when I was in college from doing a backflip. I did a backflip, and my teacher said that he had me. He thought I could do it. Literally fell on my head, and I have spinal stenosis there. So, what happens is when I do upper body workouts, I often will trigger the neck, and I end up in excruciating pain. The last time I did that, which was several months back, I was literally up in bed for a couple of days, could not move, could hardly even go to the bathroom. So I get freaked out trying to do my upper body, but I'm noticing my upper body strength is getting so horrible. Like I could hardly do a push up or a chin up. And I'm like, I'm going to have to figure this out. So I say all that to say that I have been, for the last month actually, been very consistent about doing my upper body workouts and doing my strengthening workouts upper body. And what happened was Friday, things had gotten a little crazy and the day was just so busy, so packed. As it got to the end of the day, I realized, oh no, I hadn't done my workout for the day. And I've been really consistent the last 4 weeks. And I was like, oh, I totally forgot. I just got so busy. And instead of just throwing it all out, I said, you know what? I'm going to do a couple of sets of my push ups and my pull ups. And that's exactly what I did. I skipped everything else. I skipped the warm up, the cool down, the legs, the core. I skipped everything else and literally just spent a few minutes doing my push ups and doing my chin ups. And I say that because I realized in that moment that it wasn't about getting it perfect. And I've known this, but I think sometimes we think about this. It's not about getting it perfect, but it's about focusing in on, for me, I knew those were my weak areas and I still wanted to have progress in that area. And I was like, okay, I don't need as much progress in the other areas, but I still want to have progress. I don't want to skip Friday because I wasn't going to do anything over the weekend. I wasn't going to do anything until Monday. So for me, I went ahead and just did the push-ups, did the pull-ups, and I didn't do full sets, and I called it a day. I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm still making progress towards my goal. So I say that to say, as you're going through the holiday season, I want you to work on a practice that will still help you meet your goals. I know that you guys look to me when on this channel, I'm always talking about strengthening and tightening the core. I want to give you the minimum exercise that you can do throughout the holiday, literally spending 3 to 5 minutes on this particular practice and still get really good results. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put down in the comments a link to one of my ladies in my program who swears by this practice. So many swear by the practice for their back pain, leaking, and tummy. But this mama, I actually had it on video, so I'm going to share it with you down in the comments. It's like a minute long. I'll have to remember to link it when I get off of this live. Okay, so why are we going to do this exercise? So there are 4 layers. You have 4 layers of abdominal muscle. And you have your rectus abdominis, what you see on the outside. You have your obliques, your external and your internal obliques, and then you have your deepest core muscle, the transverse abdominis. Now, the transverse abdominis is the muscle that I want you to isolate in the beginning. With all of my ladies in my programs, I have them isolate this muscle first. And what I want us to do together right now, if you don't have time, save it for later, because I want you to know what it feels like to properly engage your core. Now, this is going to be the equivalent for you. Like for me, my baseline was doing the chin-ups and the push-ups. That's what I'm isolating. That's what I want to continue to see progress with. Even if I don't have a full 15 or 30 minutes to do my whole workout, I'm going to at least spend 5 minutes and do those things. This is your exercise that I want you to spend at least 3 to 5 minutes, 4 days a week. That's it. Doing an exercise that focuses in this area, because you will continue to see progress and not have to start over in January, okay? I don't want none of that. No starting over in January. So the transverse abdominis is your deepest core muscle, and it literally is shaped like a back support. Now, this is a back support or a waist trainer. This is what it does, all right? Your deepest core muscle wraps around your waistline and literally cinches it in. Why is that so important? That's because this muscle, when it engages, it shrinks you in. Why? Is it for cute? Okay, it could be cute, but this is why. The reason why is because when you are loose, when this transverse abdominis muscle is loose, I'm going to loosen up this belt now. When it's loose, the front of your stomach just hangs out. That means your organs are hanging out, and digestion isn't as good because gravity isn't making it go down. It's kind of laying down like this. Not only that, but your back is not supported, and that's why in part you have back pain. Okay, that's because the back doesn't have the support it normally would if this were tight. Not only that, but I'm going to show you as we do an exercise together here in a second that it's also connected to the pelvic floor. When this transverse abdominis is nice and tight, it is connected to the pelvic floor and keeps the pelvic floor nice and supported as well. So when it's tight, you see how I have the back support nice and tight. I have the front of my abs nice and tight. It also helps with the pelvic floor muscles as well because they work together. So when we talk about having a transverse abdominis that's strong, we don't want it to be loose. We want support. We want it to be nice and strong and tight. So how do we do that? So now we're going to go into how to properly engage your core. This is something that I want you to feel so comfortable and confident. I work with my ladies in my program, the 8-week core challenge, in my coaching program all the time. This is the bare minimum, okay? And you want to understand how to engage your core. And I have what I call the zip method. And the first step of the zip method is to pretend as though you're wearing a tight pair of jeans. So you're pulling up a tight pair of jeans. And what you're going to do is sitting up nice and tall. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. You have on these tight pair of jeans. And I want you to zip up the zipper. Pretend as though you're zipping up the zipper without getting your skin caught down here. Okay? So you're putting on a tight pair of jeans. All right? Putting it on. And you're pretending as though you're buttoning and you're zipping up the zipper without getting your skin caught down here. Okay, that's the analogy I want you to think of. That's one of my favorites, the one that I feel like a lot of my mamas connect with. There are a bunch of other ones, but that one, I want you, if you feel that when you do that exercise, I want you to put me in the comments. So let's try that one more time. I want you to sit up nice and tall. I want you to pretend as though you're putting on a tight pair of jeans. Now you're going to zip up the jeans. Zip. So hear me hang out, relax. Okay. Sit up nice and tall. Now zip up without getting any skin caught down here. You want that movement to come from the bottom up. And I want you to hold that there. Okay. Hold that. Now let it go. Okay. This time I want you to do it again, but I want you to pay attention to what's going on with your pelvic floor. I want you to feel and see this connection for yourself. Okay, so let's do that again. I want you to put on the tight pair of jeans. Now I want you to zip up the zipper without getting your skin caught down there or anything else for that matter. And hold it. Hold it. Now I want you to get in tune with your pelvic floor. Get in tune with it. Pay attention to it as you now relax your stomach. Now, if you felt your pelvic floor relax with your stomach, I want you to put me in the comments. Now, unless there's a major disconnect or there's weakness in those areas, sometimes you won't feel it. I have ladies in my coaching program that, we're working on that still, but a lot of you will feel that connection. Put me in the comments if you felt your pelvic floor relax as you did that. If you need to do it again, rewind the video a little bit, and I want you to practice that again, okay? Because that helps us see and feel that the deep core is connected to our pelvic floor. So that's why I say when you strengthen your transverse abdominis, which is like your waist trainer muscle, not only is it tightening you up front and all the way around your waist, it's tightening you back here in your back to give you support, but it's also helping to strengthen your pelvic floor, okay? So that is why that is the main practice we are going to be doing in our holiday boot camp. If you want to know more about the holiday boot camp, put holiday down in the comments, but we're going to continue on. But that's the main thing, that one of the main practices we're going to be doing. But inside the holiday boot camp, we will be personalizing your pull-in. So that's what we call a pull-in. I call it a quick start pull-in, but everybody is at a different place with their pull-in. And so in the holiday boot camp, we are going to be personalizing your pull-in, what you'll be starting off with based on your strength level so that you can get results as fast as possible. So everybody's going to be different. It's hard for me to troubleshoot that here on this live, but that's a start. That's a start. Some of you might be more advanced and can do that in different positions that I have in the holiday boot camp. Some of you may not be able to do it very well sitting up, and you might have to do that in other positions that have also modified there in the holiday boot camp. But hopefully you got a good taste of what that feels like, because that's what I mean when I say engage the core. That's the deepest core muscle that wraps around you like a waist trainer. Here is what I don't want to happen, okay? What I don't want you to do is feel like strengthening your core is an all or nothing gig. So during this holiday season, and we're going to go through a framework that I want you to follow here in a minute, because I want you to keep this framework in mind so that you don't feel like you can't stay strong throughout the holiday and still get results through the holiday. Now, it used to be my practice when it came to this time of the year, I would just put my course on this major sale, knowing that nobody was going to do anything, but they'd jump on it on January, right? But not this year. I thought, you know what? I'd rather offer something very small, very low commitment, where you can stay consistent during the holidays, because I find that those who even stay consistent in the smallest ways, even in the 3 to 5 minute practice, 4 days a week, you're going to do far more better than somebody who wants to start in January. And this is why. It's like laundry. Imagine if we didn't do our laundry and let it pile up and say, you know what, I'm busy this season. I'm going to let it pile up and I'm going to start it in January. That would be a hot mess. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm busy. I'm going to wash it. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to let everybody else fend for themselves and get the clothes from the dryer or get the clothes from the clean clothes pile instead of folding. So I may not fold it. I may not put it away in January. Hopefully. Oh, yes. Okay, we're back. My connection was getting shaky there, it looked like. But what happens when we wait till January, you know what most people do who start in January? They have already gotten off track by the middle of January. By February, most people have already let go of their goals. They have already not done well at their New Year's resolutions. But here's what you're going to do differently. You are going to look at consistency itself as a muscle. So you're going to be training your transverse abdominis throughout this holiday season, even if it's just 3 to 5 minutes, 4 days a week. Not only are you going to be training that muscle, but you're going to be training a muscle of the mind, which I like to call consistency. I know my Mango Mamas inside of my boot camp who are watching this video, I want you, we've talked about this before, training the muscle of consistency. It's a muscle of the mind. And here's the cool thing about that muscle. It doesn't matter it doesn't know if you got your exercises perfect. It doesn't care if you did 30 minutes or 3 minutes. Consistency just means doing it regularly, even if it's a 3-minute practice, the same thing every day. So what happens is if you start now, like in the holiday boot camp that we have, or on your own with a friend or whatever it is, if you start now and you're doing a 3-minute practice 4 days a week, you are building that consistency muscle just as much as if you were doing 30 minutes 4 days a week, because you're aiming for consistency. So what will happen is, if you do this practice 3 minutes 4 days a week, and you do this throughout the holiday, even just 4 days out of the week, that consistency muscle is going to be strong, and you're going to be more successful when you're ready to do your New Year's resolutions on January 1st. This holiday boot camp that I have runs from now until January 1st, because I want you to have a little bit of time before the holiday season actually starts to get a little bit of this consistency in. And then we're going to check in with each other all throughout. We're going to have light check-ins, nothing major, nothing crazy. We're also going to be doing some nutrition tweaks. Nothing crazy, no cutting out anything, no missing out on yummy peach cobbler, mashed potatoes, and vegan mac and cheese, or regular mac and cheese. We are going to still enjoy all the fun and festivities. We're just going to have a few little hacks that we're going to do along with this 3-minute core exercise. So if you're interested in that, definitely put holiday down in the comments. Okay, so here's the framework I want you to follow for the holidays. This is how to stay consistent over the holidays. The acronym STAY, STAY, stay. So S stands for show up. Show up for even 3 minutes 4 days a week. That's the S in stay. Now we have T. T is for transverse abdominis. Train your transverse abdominis throughout the holiday, and you'll find that your tummy will be tighter, that your back will be stronger, and your leaking will be so much better if you just do that little training of your transverse abdominis. That's your bare minimum. Like how my bare minimum, chin-ups, push-ups. Yours, transverse abdominis. So S in stay, S-T-A-Y, S is show up, even 3 to 5 minutes. T, train your transverse abdominis. A is for don't abandon, okay? I have it written down here. Let me check because I forgot. Oh, adjust, don't abandon, okay? So let's say you get up one day, you forget what you're supposed to do, and the day has gotten busy, and you want to get in your 4th day out of the week. Don't abandon it totally. This is not an all or nothing gig. I want you to adjust. Say, you know what? I will do my pull-ins or my transverse abdominis assignment that I have inside of the holiday boot camp or wherever. I will do that while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm in the shower. I ran out of time. I'll do that in the car ride over to grandma's house before dinner starts, or whatever. You just want to feel like you don't have to do all or nothing. Adjust, don't abandon. So that's the A, okay? So we have S-T-A-Y, how to stay consistent over the holidays. S, show up even 3 to 5 minutes. T, train your transverse abdominis. That's your waist trainer muscle. A, adjust, don't abandon. And Y is say yes to wins. That's what it is. Say yes to wins. Say yes to wins and no to guilt. All right? Now, I say this because if you're in my boot camp, you know, we focus big on wins. We don't want to sit here, oh, I didn't do this, oh, I didn't do that. When you start talking like that and you start feeling guilty about what you didn't do, it takes away your energy for preparing for the next day. And that's not helpful. That's not what we're here for. This holiday boot camp, and for those of you who are already in my boot camp, or if you're going to do this alone, then I want you to remember guilt is not going to get you anywhere. Look for the wins. Even if your win is, oh man, I thought about it, I kind of forgot, but I thought about it and I made a plan for tomorrow. That is a win, okay? Look for the wins. Even if it feels like, you could say like, you know what, I didn't do anything. I'm going to do 1 deep squat, 2 deep squats. That engages your transverse abdominis, by the way, not in as focused as a way as doing what I just showed you and doing the pull-ins, but it's still something. So you could do that, and that could be your win. I did that for me. I did a few deep squats for me and my transverse abdominis to let myself know I'm not forgetting about myself, okay? So say yes to wins and no to guilt. This is not about guilt. Guilt is not helpful, all right? So that's it. How to stay consistent over the holidays. S-T-A-Y, stay consistent over the holidays. Over the holidays. S, show up for yourself, even if it's 3 to 5 minutes. T, train your transverse abdominis. A, adjust, don't abandon. And say yes to wins is our Y. All right. If you need help with that and you want to take this a step further, Holiday Bootcamp, put holiday down in the comments and I'll send you some information on that. For less than the price of taking your family out to eat, we can be consistent together. I can lead you through personalizing this program for you. And at the end of this, on January 1st, you will be way ahead of everybody else, and you will have no regrets, and you'll be excited for all that you've done without having to give up food and family and fun. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.